I've now got the joy of editing all of this into something coherent and into something that's not hours and hours long. I would imagine it's probably going to be around the 50-minute mark. That's my prediction. Hello, just Gem here, and welcome, or indeed welcome back to my channel. I am without makeup today and contactless because I didn't have just because basically. I will be filming makeup looks later, but the lighting is just too unreliable in the daytime. But you don't need to see me properly when I do new makeup, so I'm filming it during the day. The lighting's not horrendous. I mean, you can see me. That's something. But yeah, we're going to get stuck in because obviously it's been a very long time since I last did new makeup. There's a lot of makeup to talk about. There may be things that I skip over rather speedily due to the fact that there's going to be a lot to get through. But maybe pause, grab a drink, grab a snack. I'll try not to make this the longest video in the world, but let's see how we go. Victoria Beckham has got these, I mean, well, they're quads, aren't they? But the one pan is a little bit bigger, and then you've got three smaller pans even. I've never tried Victoria Beckham Beauty. If you have tried VBB, let me know your thoughts, because it's quite pricey, and I'm curious, is it worth the price point? I don't really think any makeup is worth that kind of price point, but is it at least of an exceptionally high quality where you can understand why they would be charging through the nose for makeup? They look alright. I'd probably, if I was to get any of them, it would be the blue one. Did I find out the pricing? £71? No, I'm sorry. There's no, absolutely not. Not even if money were no object. No. Moving swiftly on. Outrageous. I'm sorry. £71 for 4 shades. You've got to be joking. No. DD Signature's Shattered Romance palette. So this did feature in my last video, and I think maybe just the first row had been revealed at that point, but we've now got the full palette. It's really nice. I really like that. Would it be something I would pick up? I think I would put this in yes if money were no object. We're in March now. I'm supposed to be re-entering my low buy, so Real World Gem would not be picking this up. But if money were no object, this would be something that I probably would pick up. Those are very much my colours, like the purple, that vibrant purple, that sort of deep, plummy, browny purple, hot pink. It's very reminiscent actually of La Vie en Rose, so if you saw palettes I would never declutter, and even elements of New Zealand stargazing, so those colours are right up my alley. Would I need it? No, but it would be more about trying the formula. I'm really curious to try the DD Signature formula, so I think that is something that I would pick up if money were no object. I think that's really pretty. That's a really nice, cohesive, cute £9 palette, and yeah, I would pick that up. Also released at the same time were some, are these lip glosses? Kind of liquid lipsticks. Some of these are quite nice actually. I really like that deep purple that's up top, and even the pink immediately underneath. I don't think I'm fussed about the rest of those shades, so out of all of them it would be those top two that I would get, but I'm not on the market for a liquid lipstick at all, so I would probably say no on that one. I wouldn't pick anything up. LYS Lip Plumping Glossy Lip Balm. I mean, they look nice. Again, much like with the DD Signature lip products, I'm not on the market for anything really. I suppose when it comes to a gloss, there's possibly always room for a gloss. I do like a gloss. Is there anything that's pictured here that would kind of tempt me? Not really. I think looking at these, they'd all be something I've got already. So as nice as they look, no. Plus they're plumping, and I don't really need help in that department. I don't need a lip plumper, so it would be a no from me from those. Appreciate the skincare elements involved. You know, a bit of hyaluronic acid is always appreciated, but no, it's not something that I would pick up. Odin's Eye have done a collab with Morgan Turner. I quite like Morgan Turner. I think that she comes across well. I quite enjoy watching her content. It's funny though, because lately she's commented that she doesn't really rate Odin's Eye's formula these days. And I've noticed a lot of people are saying the same thing, that Odin's Eye is not like it used to be. Annette's Makeup Corner has been saying the same thing too. So I'd be curious about the formula in this, and I did watch Annette's, because I'm not getting it, by the way. Not I don't think, even if money were no object, I don't think I would pick this up. Partly because it's very similar to the Beauty Bay Daydreamer palette, but this one has perhaps got the depth that the Daydreamer palette is missing. But I wouldn't pick this up. It's $43.90. I think it's out of stock now, but it's coming back next month. It's coming back in April. But it's not something, even though it's purples and it's got a few pinks, it's got almost like an expansion of that DD Signature palette in a way. But Odin's Eyes are just not really grabbing me. There's just something about, yeah. I've got a stack of Odin's Eye palettes that I acquired. I say a stack, but when they did their mystery box from last year, I got a few palettes then, and then I took the opportunity when other people were selling dupes that they already had. I picked up a few because people were selling them for a bit cheap, and then they've just been on my shelf. I haven't gravitated towards them, apart from Snowdream. I've been really enjoying that. And the Christmas palettes, Snowdream, and the other, all the Christmas palettes I have. The only one I don't have is Hey Reindeer, and I was very tempted to pick that up when I would say brought it back, but I don't think Hey Reindeer ever sold out. But when they released Silvery Bliss and the other one, the name of which I've forgotten, I was very tempted to get Hey Reindeer then. Generally, Odin's Eye is not a brand that's exciting me, that is making me gasp and making me think I must have it. And this is no exception. No, not even if money were no object. So this is cool. This is Game Beauty, and they've got a Street Fighter collection. I used to love Street Fighter, and I would either be Chun-Li, standard, or E Honda. Those are my go-to characters when I used to play Street Fighter back in the day. I actually have Street Fighter, I want to say 4 or 5. One of the versions that you can get on a PS3, because I still own a PS3, and every now and again I'll pull it out and I'll play a little, bash the living daylights out of a fictional cartoon character on my screen, because it's fun. And this is fun, this collection. So what have you got? The full set is $236. Full set with a gift box. I mean, you might as well. I wonder if, because it says full gift set individual packaging, full set with gift box. So I wonder if that means everything's out of the box and in a bigger box. I don't know. Vibrant Viator lipstick set of 6, $64. Chromatic Contender Chameleon shadow set of 6, $64. Hue Ligon blush set of 4 and Highlight Hitter highlighter set of 2, $64. Prismatic Pugilist makeup palette, $55. Lipstick blush highlighter chameleon shadow, $12 each, vegan and for cruelty free. The palette it's these little hexagonal pans, and I think I've had a rant about this before. Just give me a round pan or give me a square pan. At a push, give me a rectangular pan. please don't start throwing in hexagons and stars and oblongs and other random shapes. I'm a bit boring like that. Just square, round, rectangle. And it just, when they're spaced like that, I never like how it's arranged, and this palette is no exception. I just feel like there's so much wasted space in that palette, and how do you store that? That's always something that's in the back of my mind and is a big determining factor about whether I pick something up. It's the shape of it and how easy it's going to be to store. And some people like odd shapes, maybe they think they have a bit of character or something, but I just find them annoying. I can't be doing with these funny shape palettes that are just a pain in the backside to store. Just not for me. I mean, the colours look pretty decent. It's a vibrant colour story, which is alright, but no. It's a cute collection. Would I be tempted to pick any of it up? I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun collection, but no. I don't think I'd pick anything up. Not even for nostalgic purposes. Unearthly. So Unearthly have got two things coming out. They've got the collab with Xander, so that's a green highlight. While I love green, I don't know how I feel about a green highlight. I have, however, seen that this doesn't have a base to it, so it would just be like a beautiful wash of shimmer on your cheek, and it's not like you would just have this streak of green across your face. So potentially I could work with it. But then I saw the price, $32, which, considering the palette, which they're also releasing, called Thinking of You, so it's their Valentine's release. Well, I say that these are both out. These are available. It's not that they're coming. They're both out at this point. But the palette is $28. And I just don't know how I feel about paying $32 for a single highlighter or lowlighter when they've got a palette out with 9 shades in it that's $4 less. That doesn't seem economical to me. It's probably a formula thing, but my brain can't compute paying more for a single square product like that. But the palette, there's something I'm still yet to try Unearthly, so Just a Taste is still on pre-order. I suspect, assuming it arrives before my friend in the US comes over who it's being sent to, she's due to arrive here in April. This is effectively a basic bitch palette, really, isn't it? This Thinking of You. But there's something about it that has me intrigued. And now I'm looking at this, maybe I'll move it up, I'll talk about this next, but it's got these sort of corally, orangey leaning shades. And I think for $28, I don't think that's too bad at all. But if I get it, I'd probably have to get it from Monolith, because I feel a bit bad. I don't want to just keep saying to my mate, can you bring this as well? Can you bring this as well? Plus I'm supposed to be on a low buy. The Xander highlighter, no, not even if money were no object. Whereas the Thinking of You palette, yes, if money were no object. And that's kind of teetering into the just yes territory. I don't know, there's just something about that colour story that I'm really drawn to. I don't know why. And perhaps this would satisfy my sort of peachy, orangey desire, because the other release that's coming up is the Natasha Denona Bloom palette. Now this, I was going to talk about this a bit later, but it seems to flow quite nicely to talk about it here. I haven't been drawn to a Natasha Denona palette since My Dream, which I picked up, and I suspect one of the reasons I'm now drawn to Bloom is because it has a lot of similarities to My Dream. I was all set to buy it, especially because I've got a voucher where I can get a significant chunk off, But then someone did do comparison swatches of My Dream next to Bloom, and now I'm second guessing myself. I'm thinking, is there just too much overlap to justify picking up Bloom? But there's just something, I still haven't seen any deep content creators who have picked this up. So I don't know if I kind of bite the bullet and be one of those deep skin-toned content creators who does something with it. I don't know. But there's just something about it. It's kind of living rent-free in my head. I think it's going to have to be Thinking of You or Bloom. I don't think I can get both. And now that I've just said that out loud, I'm leaning more towards Thinking of You. Watch this space. Let's see what I end up with. Titanium Foxes, Jay's Joy. I will admit, when I first saw the reveal, I was a bit like, oh. I wasn't convinced. And this is shortly after saying, I would imagine that everything Titanium Foxes releases I'll probably pick up. I saw it and I was a bit like, oh, I don't know. Does it look a bit too samey? Do I like the arrangement of colours, like the selection of colours in here? I'm not 100% convinced until Clara started doing swatches, and then I was like, ooh, hello. There's going to be a bird bundle and there's already a poppy bundle, which is a little bit frustrating because I've got one poppy palette and one bird palette. This might not be something that I pick up now, like I might wait, I don't know. So it's releasing, I'm filming this Saturday morning, it's actually being released today, later on today. When Clara started showing those swatches, I started thinking, oh no, because they just started to look very, very appealing the more swatches she did. Damn you, Clara, damn you. 54 euros 30. Oh no, that's Grackle Chat. Grackle Chat's 54.30. Jay's Joy is 52.60, and there's a bundle for 99.90 if you want to get the two. Maybe one of those I'll get eventually, but I don't know if I'll pick it up straight away. So yes, if money were no object, kind of teetering towards yes, says the woman on a low buy. Say are releasing, I think they have released at this point, Super Suede Talc Free Powder Blush. I've tried a few Say products and I really like them. The lip blur in Modern, I am using that constantly. And then the gloss as well in the shade Dip, I use that a lot. I do have a few other bits from them that I kind of dip into every now and again. So Say is a brand I do actually, from what I've tried, I do quite like their stuff. I'm just not in the market for a blush. Blush and highlight. I did just buy a highlighter, but let's not talk about that. I mean, I'd be curious, but I've just got enough blush. I really do. I think they're $28 each. Yeah, I'd be curious, I would, but I don't think I'd want to pick anything up. But they do look good, and Say as a brand is shaping up to be a brand that I do rate. Live Tinted have got these gradient blushing bronzers. I think they started with one and they've expanded it to add two more. I don't know how I feel about compacts that have gradient products in them in this way. I just feel that there's too much room for blurring it all together. And I mean, I almost, that's probably part of the point in a way. It's probably designed where you can just kind of swirl your brush in and give yourself a nice blushy, bronzy wash of colour. But then part of me wonders, does that not defeat the purpose a little bit? Live Tinted isn't a brand I've tried actually. I'm curious. Every now and again they come out with something and it intrigues me. I'm interested, but I've never actually got anything from them. This wouldn't be a product that would sway me to purchase something, only because I'm just not a big fan of that poor lack of separation. There's no separation whatsoever. Nice in theory, but in practice I don't know how I feel about those kinds of products. So looks aesthetically pleasing, not sure about the practicality. No. The pastel roses. So ever since I picked up the pumpkin spice palette and one of those diamond quads, I've been waiting for the pastel roses to release something else so I can try them again. Because while I do actually really like that pumpkin, what did I just say it was called? Good Lord, massive brain fart. Pumpkin spice? Pumpkin, we're going with pumpkin spice. I do really like it, but it threw me off that that shade Cozy was not as deep as it's been shown to be. And I feel that that knocked points off that palette. I'd rate that palette way more highly if that shade Cozy looked how it does on the website. So they've released this palette and it's called Sweet Harmony, and it's a full shimmer, 12 dazzling shades. The thing is, it's, how much is it? $54.99. They've also released it with a highlighter, which is $9.99, and there's a bundle and it would be $59.99. So this is in pounds sterling, by the way. I don't know that I want to part with £55 for that palette. When that Pat McGrath holiday palette went on sale, I don't think I even paid $55 for that. And I know that they're all shimmers. No, I'm still holding out, Pastel Roses. I'm kind of rooting for you. I want you to release something that makes me jump up and pay attention and immediately want to part with my money. Sweet Harmony is not it. Mint City by, I don't know how you pronounce this brand. Is it Mandy Makeup? I'm gonna go with Mandy Makeup. I don't know about this colour story. It seems a little bit all over the place to me. I like green. It's got like a pinky purple in there, which I like. But I don't understand, and it stands to reason you'd have a few green shades in there. So there's 4 green shades out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Which makes sense, but then they've thrown in a red, which adds like this odd Christmassy element. I don't understand the colour story. No to Mint City from Mandy Makeup. Did I make a note of a price for that? £45, and it seems to have a £41 introductory / sale price on at the moment. Well, at least when I noted down the price, but no to Mint City. Danessa Myricks has extended her Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder Flushed products. So this shade extension includes Creme Brulee, Spiced Latte, Red Velvet and Grape Soda. I think I've got one of the original ones and I can't remember which one. It's an orangey one, name of which I can't remember. I remember I wasn't keen on it originally, but I used it more and then it grew on me. I'd be intrigued by Grape Soda, but at the same time I've got a purple that's not too dissimilar in my Made by Mitchell Curve case, the Deeper Than Deep one. But I think it's pretty cool that she's extended it and added a few more shades. These look very different as well to the ones that she's already got, so it's a nice extension. It's an extension that makes sense. £27.50, I believe. So not horrendous. Pretty, but no, on the blushes. So I talked about this in the last makeup releases video, so I knew it was coming but hadn't seen any reveals, any swatches, anything. And it's the Artitude Cosmetics Ink and Roses palette, which I do have. And a video of this is going to be going up on Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that. So yes, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to have an entire video on it. So yes, I bought it. As well as the palette, there were some separate multi-chromes that you could buy. So Rooks is thinking now, in order to keep the cost of palettes down, she might reduce the number of multi-chromes within palettes and sell them separately for anyone who's still super keen on multi-chromes, because I think people are starting to get a bit divided and when it comes to multi-chromes. Some people are like, multi-chromes forever, and other people are like, I'm so over it. Rather than force everyone to have multi-chromes that they may not be interested in or want anymore, Rooks might start releasing multi-chromes separately, which I think is a good idea. But then it does then start to add up if you do want all the multi-chromes, because they're $11.99 each. Full first impressions coming on Tuesday. Made by Mitchell is now just spamming us with product, I feel. He's got this a duo of Cupid cases, like a rosy one. I mean, they've got names. I don't know why what's the first one called? Rose Garden and Muted Nudes. If I didn't already have lipstick products coming out of my ears, and maybe if I was a bit new to makeup, this could be quite nice to have. But no, but it's not the only thing he's releasing. He's also got Smoothie Stains Lip and Cheek. He's got Pressed Curved Case. I mean, I did like a video because he was talking about a live that was coming up, which has now taken place, and he was listing all the new products that are coming out. And I rate, like, Mitchell comes across as a nice guy, and I rate the brand generally. There's a few duds here and there, but I think that's to be expected when you're churning product out at this rate. I'm just wondering if he needs to slow down with the amount of products he's releasing. It's a lot. It's affordable, so I'll give him that, but it's just high volume. It's a lot. It's in your face. It doesn't slow down. He's doing these lives all the time, and I think people just feel compelled to spend. I deliberately avoided that live because I generally have like a strongish willpower, believe it or not, but every now and again on those lives you can be a bit tempted, and I didn't want to fall victim to that kind of like, oh, that looks good, I'll just add it to my basket, and then it all adds up, and then you spend a fortune, and then it all turns up on your doorstep, and then you just washed with regret. But I avoided that mega live that he just did on Thursday because I was like, it's just too much, Mitchell. You need to calm down. I think it's a lot of product, and I just feel for anyone who's a super fan who feels that they need to keep up and buy most, if not all, his releases, because there's a lot. The pressed curve cases have me intrigued because I do now, whenever I use my curve case, which is a lot these days, I feel like it's my go-to, but I think it's mainly because I use a cream product on my cheek and then I set it with a blush. So those pressed curve cases, they seem ideal to me because they're meant to pair together, but I'm in no rush. I definitely don't need it at this point, and prices will drop. You know, if the original curve case is anything to go by, that pressed curve case will be down to a tenner in a couple of months. So I'm happy to sit tight and wait until it's going for peanuts rather than pay whatever the full price of it would be right now. I think it was one of those products where he did an early temporary release in the live, but the actual product's not going to be released until April. So, I mean, I'll mull it over and also wait for the price to come down, but I'm in no hurry. Clarity Cosmetics I Love Coffee with I spelt E-Y-E, which I thought was quite cute. This is kind of like your basic bitch neutral palette, isn't it? But I feel like the pigment is there. This does look quite nice. Clarity is a brand, again, that I want to try, and I will eventually, definitely. I don't know when. I don't even think it will necessarily be this palette, I don't have many proper neutral palettes in my collection, mainly because I lean more towards the colourful, but that would be quite nice. It's one of the reasons I was very close to getting that teddy bear palette from Give Me Glow, because that also looked like a really beautiful basic neutral palette, and this is very similar, and it's got some lip products with it as well. We've established how I feel about lip products. It's $54 for the palette, and if you were to get the bundle with the lip products, it's $90. NYX are releasing buttermelt highlighters, and I am intrigued. So I think they're out now, and I believe that they're $12. I love the buttermelt blushes. They are super pigmented, they smell delightful, and they're cheap as chips. So I rate them. I rate them highly. I think it was Jan who put it on my radar. She said they're going to be releasing highlighters, and I was like, really? Interesting. I don't know that I'd buy any. Maybe I'd buy one just to see, out of curiosity, just because I love the blushes / bronzers so much. The bronzers I use as blushes too. And because of the price point, I'd be intrigued enough to at least buy one to see what it's like. I'm not supposed to be buying any blushes or highlighters, but just because of the precedent that the buttermelt range seems to have set already, I'd be curious. In fact, earlier on I went to Boots. I knew they wouldn't be here in the UK yet, but I thought just on the off chance that, as in the UK, we've sprung into action and we have them already, let me go to Boots and Superdrug and see if they're here yet. They aren't, but I'll keep my eyes peeled. It might even be as that I just go into Superdrug or Boots and have a mini swatch party in there. I might not actually buy them, but I want to see what they're like. I want to see. I'm very intrigued. Dandelions Co. When you read the caption, you'll see that I think the owner was given a book by someone called Natalia, which has then inspired them to create these singles, which look really beautiful. I really love these colours. So this would be a yes if money were no object. I'd be curious though to see like what kind of packaging does it come in? Does it come in a palette? Are they all just going to be singles? I haven't seen any more. Let me just check IG to see if anything has been updated on this. No, there hasn't been any more, and that was on the 22nd of February. But I'll keep watching just because I'm really curious. I just really like these shades. And I'm not really a singles kind of person, but these are just really nice. Yes, if money were no object, but pending, I want to see how they come. Like, is it just, you get like a little pouch with some singles in there, or are they going to give you a palette? Is there some kind of bundle? I want to see more. Maybe it's the shades of blue that are really drawing me in. But yeah, I just really like that. And that's Dandelions Co. Blend Bunny, Beauty Below. I have it. I bought this immediately. It was released at 6 PM GMT, I want to say last Friday. By 6:02, I had the confirmation email in my inbox. I don't think I've ever bought a brand new palette that fast in my life. Not even Divination. In fact, I faffed with Divination so much so that I missed out on one of the glosses. I now have that gloss. Something about Beauty Below, I mentioned it in my stories, but I remember when I saw the reveal, I genuinely had an intake of breath. I thought it was literally breathtaking. I think it's stunning. I can't pinpoint what it is about this palette, but I saw it and immediately I thought to myself, I want it. I don't always have that with palettes. I'm the kind of person, not so much now, I think, with brands I'm more familiar with. Like, I know what I'm going to get when it comes to the formula. So gosh, the sun is really stunning now, isn't it? When it's a brand I'm more familiar with, I don't tend to mull it over as much. When it's a new brand, or maybe it's a brand I haven't bought from in a long time, Natasha Denona, I definitely spend more time considering it. This palette, it was released, Maggie posted a picture, I saw that picture and instantly was like, I'm buying that palette. I'm yet to dive into it only because I have plans for March and I haven't quite worked out how this would fit into those plans. I will find a way to use this soon because I want to. I must use it soon. But yeah, Blend Bunny, Beauty Below, yes. Yes. NARS is releasing some more stuff. It looks, apart from the packaging, the same as everything else they've ever released. No. Cheery Up? I think it's Cheery Up. How do you pronounce that? I don't know. But they've got this yellow palette. This just looks like it, on my skin tone, it would be Ash Central. So when I saw it was yellow, I thought to myself, this could be interesting. This could be interesting. But it's pastel and it looks like there is no pigment in them whatsoever. It's very white, heavy pigment. I think that would look awful on my skin tone, which is a shame. But it's kind of, I feel like that formula is going to be hit and miss when it comes to really deep skin tones. I'm curious to anyone else who's got a skin tone like a little bit lighter and a little bit deeper than mine, how you get on with this range of palettes. Because I like the look of them. There are some of them I think could work and I'm really, really curious and I would be keen to try them, but this wouldn't be one of them. Absolutely not. Nomad Cosmetics are releasing a new palette. The guessing game is going to start on Monday, and I feel like they've only just released the Chamonix Après-Ski palette. A video on that coming next Sunday, by the way. It's going to be a collab. Just by what we've seen so far, it looks like it might be heavily Easter influenced. Nomad is one of those brands where I rate the formula, so going forward it's going to be all about the colour story, about whether I pick it up or not. Chamonix I almost didn't because I was concerned about the pastel shades in there. I think I can make that palette work. The formulation tipped the scale for me when it came to the colour story. I do actually really like the colour story. I think the colour story is beautiful. I just wasn't sure how all of those shades within that colour story would translate on my skin. And it will be fun trying that out. I'm curious to see what's coming out. And also, I don't know if I've said this yet, and I've checked, I have permission to say this, but some of your old favourites from Nomad are going to be making a reappearance. I can't tell you which ones, but keep your eyes peeled because Nomad are going to be re-releasing some palettes from the vault. I don't even know where to start. I mean, if you've sat patiently and watched all of this and my ramblings and rantings about these various products, you may notice that I haven't mentioned this yet, and I hadn't necessarily meant for it to be last, but it just ended up being one of the last ones and it made sense for it to be tagged on at the end here. Pat McGrath and Candy Crush. I'm sorry, what? I saw collab and I thought, oh, okay, I'm intrigued, interest peaked, what's this going to be about? And then when it dropped and it was a collab with Candy Crush, I thought, is this for real? Have I fallen asleep? Have I, been knocked on the head and I've woken up and it's actually April 1st? And this is some kind of weird April Fool's Day prank. Pat McGrath is supposed to be a high-end luxury makeup brand. What the fuck is she doing collaborating with a mobile phone game, branded game, whatever, about swapping little candies on a screen to make them disappear. What about that screams high-end and luxury? Apart from the price, because I went and had a look. The lipsticks are £37, the glosses are £27, and there's nail polish and they're £30 each. If you want to get the entire thing, it's £157, and there's like other bundles with various different combinations within it that you can get. Have the people at Pat McGrath officially lost their minds? What is the logic behind this? In what way, shape or form does this collaboration make sense? Who authorised this? Is this person on crack? And this is almost a genuine question. Like, has someone on the development team just been playing Candy Crush religiously and has been brainwashed by it and thought, I know what will be a good idea, let's collab with that brand? And even the packaging, it looks cheap. There are no redeeming qualities about this collab. This to me is something that Glamlight would do. If Glamlight did this, I would not bat an eyelid. I'd look at that, and in fact I'd probably rate it. I'd probably be like, oh, how cute, Glamlight and Candy Crush. And this is no shade, like I said, I commented this on the reveal, like, this is no shade to Glamlight. That is within Glamlight's wheelhouse. I would expect that of Glamlight. Glamlight is an indie brand that does a lot of collaborations. A lot of it is around like horror films and stuff, but they do other stuff. Fresh Prince, Betty Boop, Scooby-Doo, I think, you name it. I think Glamlight at this point, like Frosties, Frosted Flakes, you name it, Glamlight have probably done a collab with it. So this would not be out of the ordinary for Glamlight. But Pat McGrath, how far has this brand fallen from where it was? I don't know if they can kind of claw it back. There are some stans in the comments who are like, woo, love it, can't wait, amazing. I'm like, what is amazing about this? Fuck all, I'm sorry, there is nothing amazing about this. I just can't. I'm wondering, because someone commented and said, like, bothered, I'm just waiting for a Mothership palette, which I think a lot of us are in that boat at the moment. If Pat comes out with a Mothership this year and it's got pink and gold in it, I think I'm officially out. I'll just admire and use what I've already got, but the brand has 100% officially lost its way. I can't with Pat McGrath at the moment. I can't. They had better pull it out of the bag. If they do indeed release a Mothership this year, better be the best Mothership Pat McGrath has ever released, which is a tall order. But this is abysmal. This is shocking. This is dreadful. I don't know what they were thinking. If you have made it to the end of my rantings, I salute you, because that was a lot. If you have sat through that, I really, really appreciate it. I really, really do. I should be back on track now. I'm trying to use this weekend to get ahead, film some content of stuff that I've got planned, and once I've done that and I've kind of got ahead of myself a little bit, it should make filming new makeup releases easier going forward. And I'm going to go back to doing it fortnightly so that they're not epic videos of ridiculous length in the future. This one's just a bit longer just because there was a lot, and there's a lot I just stopped collecting. So what I tend to do is, in between each new makeup video, I do screenshots and I make notes where I can, and after a while I wasn't doing that as frequently because it was just building up. So drop me a comment down below if there's anything that's been released and you think to yourself, Jamie didn't mention that, I'm curious to know what you think. Do leave me a comment down below, because I'm sure that there's probably some big releases or notable releases that I've completely missed just because of the sheer volume of stuff that comes out on an everyday basis. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I also hope to see you again in a video in the not too distant future. Take care. Bye.